Hey, what's up, guys? Ken here from the Retro Toyscapades channel. If you're new here and enjoying the content, do take a moment to subscribe so that I can keep bringing you more pop culture commentary that you didn't ask for. So, hey, there's a ton of new announcements streaming out of Powercon last week. And of course, there's a lot of excitement stemming from the fact that Mattel is now back to doing He-Man figures with the MOTU Origins line. And yes, that's great, even if it's still not aimed at retail. But then there's other news as well that they're doing another Masters line for 2020 with a smaller scale series, maybe about 3 inches or so, called the MOTU Origins MINIS. Same great heroes and villains from Eternia, just smaller, with probably lesser articulation, a hyper deformed caricature like design style, and likely to be blind boxed, so you can go in blind and blindly part with your cash as well. Because people like suspense and surprises and not knowing what they're about to get, even if it drives them broke, I guess. Guys, look, there's a couple of things I'm just about done with here. Now, firstly, blind boxes. Screw that. If I'm paying money on a toy, I want to see what I'm buying. What are we going to do next? Start blind toy auctions on eBay? Imagine bidding on a classic 80s lot of a dozen MOTU figures and not knowing what's in the allocation. You win and you land a whole mess of Ram Man figures from 1984. Like 12 Ram Mans in total. And I'm not talking about the 4 horsemen sculpted Ram Man. I'm talking about the freaking 1980s Ram Man that had a plastic body and that was more hollow than your mom's shampoo bottle, and a battering ram head ramming feature that could barely budge a sheet of paper. That fucking Ram Man. And you know what? Secondly, when are we gonna get done with hyper deformed figures? When are we going to stop seeing interpretations of these characters with either enlarged heads and smaller chests or miniaturized heads with gigantic bodies, tiny hands with clown-sized feet, small arms with building-sized arms? Come on. The list goes on. Now, for the record, these MOTU Origins figures appear to have settled on an enlarged chest and body with huge arms and tiny legs. Whatever works, right? I mean, whatever brings the cute factor. Understandably, despite the limited distribution for various Masters of the Universe licenses, the franchise remains one of the most visible and identifiable properties from the 1980s after Transformers and G.I. Joe. Oh, and My Little Pony as well. So there are going to be multiple companies that still see value in putting various different ranges and styles. And these companies will have to differentiate their product from the more realistic-like proportions as done by Mattel. Now, thing is, I think that this scaled-down, deformed toy concept is starting to get done to death. Now, over the last 2 years or so, we've had the Mega Constructs MOTU line, which, okay, yes, those are building figures, but they are also caricaturish and an alternate He-Man universe to get into. Then we have the Funkos. Okay, so the first series came out some years back, but recently, over the last year, and after a long period of dormancy, we've had new figures start to come out again. And it wasn't just, a vaulted one-off like we thought, but Funko is getting back into expanding the entire He-Man universe too, probably. And then we have the reaction figures, 3.5-inch action figures done in the style of the old Kenner figures. They've had a number of MOTU figures out in the last year from Reaction. Admittedly, the proportions for these are human-like, as in they have the normal proportions for a humanoid-style figure with the appropriate scale for the head, chest, arms and legs. Just that they are 3.5-inch in style. Now, there's been some interesting stuff in the line, but admittedly, the stars of the series, He-Man and Skeletor, are just awful. Now, they were sculpted practically without muscles. These are the skinniest versions of the 2 characters ever made and just look like malnourished teenagers. So once you get the principal characters wrong, I kind of just tune out. Now, there is one line of stylized vinyl MOTU figures that I am really a fan of, and that's the lineup from the Loyal Subjects. Now, these I can get behind because, unlike a lot of other vinyl figure brands, the MOTU figures from the Loyal Subjects not only carry the iconic 80s style designs of these characters, but they also have multiple accessories and are also super articulated, at least more articulated than any other major pop culture stylized vinyl figure brand out there. So back to the new wave of MOTU minis that will be coming your way. I can see the appeal in this for a lot of you, and they certainly have a lot of the classic looks and design specs incorporated into a very tiny body. And this isn't a case of, if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. But given that He-Man could be facing a whole new level of resurgence with so many projects on the way, and a revamp of the overall toy line with the Origin series, why not just focus on that line instead and pump all the resources into getting the branding up to the point where these toys have the visibility and demand to be placed for sale at regular retail shops? Why spread the brand further into different universes that you have to collect and complete when one universe is already so freaking hard for collectors to finish finding and buying everything? Now, why put out another spin-off line from the same franchise that's going to be subjected to the same logistical distribution nightmare, especially for fans overseas? And you know what? That He-Man minifigure, I don't know if it's just me, but that expression on his face makes him look like a lunatic. Now, I get that he's angry, but those sure are some gritted teeth. I mean, big time. Hey guys, let me know what you think of the new MOTU minis and which Masters of the Universe lines do you collect. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Especially subscribe to the channel so that we can grow and become more powerful. Because by the power of Grayskull, you have the power! Thank you.